Thanks for clicking. Canadian real estate prices were perfectly normal in 2021. It was all just a supply issue. House prices weren't melting down in 2022, and Canadians were getting to jump back in the market just a few years later, right when the real estate industry hit the jackpot, leading to record expected demand in 2025. All of this according to the Financial Post. During that same period from 2022 until present, the benchmark price of a home in Canada dropped by over 20%.
I'm doing everything I can.
Yeah, given that the headlines persistently diverge from reality, you might get the idea that the Financial Post is not just reporting on Canada's real estate market. Rather, it kind of feels like it's trying to sell it. But it's not just the Post headlines that fail to match reality. It's the content as well, with multiple instances of its writers failing to read the things upon which they report, with regular contributor Pamela Haven misreporting on polls, Rob McClister also misreporting on polls when he's not trying to goad Canadians into a riskier mortgage, Hayter and Moranis calling for government bailouts. You get the idea, a consistent tilt towards a narrative that, if followed, would send Canadian real estate prices moving ever higher. And I had always just personally assumed that this was due to advertisers, the media serving their masters in the real estate industry who hold on to the purse strings.
Sorry, baby, can I talk?
Go on, baby.
I think you better mind your manners.
And then I dug a bit deeper, and although I still think that's the case, a little bit of research can reveal a lot. So what I want to do today is take a deep dive into the Financial Post, take a look at its board and that board's ties to the real estate industry, go over how it earns its money, and then take a look at its majority shareholder, Chatham Asset Management. If you like today's video, there are a few other Canadian media outlets that persistently favor the real estate industry, and I do plan on doing deep dives into them at some point as well. Make sure you click like and subscribe if you want to get those updates, but for now, let's get into this board. Onto the Financial Post, which is owned by Post Media, which is chaired by Peter Sharp, who, as of 2012, was considered to be one of Canada's top real estate executives. Which, obviously, yeah, he probably was a top executive, having served at Cadillac Fairview, a major player in commercial real estate, for over 25 years. But the ties to real estate don't just stop there. Sharp is also a senior director at Morgard, a fully integrated real estate company which owns, manages, and invests in real estate across North America. The company owns two real estate investment trusts, one of which did really well during the pandemic and then not so well thereafter, and then another which again did really well during the pandemic and then sort of okay thereafter, not so much as of recent. Now, how do these real estate investment trusts do when the market is booming, when FOMO has taken hold and buyers think that prices are going to continually go up? Let's go grab the stock data from Morgard North American Residential Trust and we'll put it into Excel. Then we can import our benchmark price data into that Excel document. And well, surprise, surprise, the stock price on the REIT does appear to move up and down with slight variations with Canada's benchmark price. So does Post Media CEO Peter Sharp, who also sits on the board of Morgard, which owns two real estate investment trusts, does he do better when real estate prices are moving ever upward? Does he have an interest in seeing real estate prices rise? Well, also worth noting, during his tenure at Post Media, he was also a director/board member of Allied Properties Real Estate Investments. Sharp decided to retire from Allied in May of 2022 after doing fairly well in terms of compensation. Which makes sense. Allied stock did quite well during the pandemic leading up to Sharp's retirement, though not so much thereafter. Let's turn back to the Financial Post less than a year before that retirement. Supply is the only cause and only solution to Canada's housing woes. So, just to recap, we have Peter Sharp, chair of Post Media, which also owns the Financial Post, also sits on the board of Morgard, which owns two real estate investment trusts, both of which did great during the pandemic, not as well thereafter. And he sat on the board of Allied Real Estate Investments, which also did quite well during the pandemic up until May of 2022. All the while, the Financial Post was running stories like this about Canada's real estate bubble.
I am looking out for you in this thing, okay?
So we do have a fair amount of real estate interest sitting at the top of the Financial Post. Let's now turn our eyes to the advertising. You don't have to be a sleuth to understand that medias depend on their advertisers medias. The media depends on their advertisers. According to filings from Postmedia, advertisements represent about 50% of Postmedia's income. Some of this no doubt comes from Postmedia's Content Works platform, where the company interacts with advertisers to create impactful content. So you're an advertiser, you're a professional, you go to the Financial Post, you go to Postmedia, and they work up a nice story that stresses the story that you want to get out to the public.
I'm kind of a big deal.
Well, yeah, take a look. You can filter some of that sponsored content by tag and find a 2021 advertisement about bidding wars back when Allied stock price was sitting right about here. Fast forward to now, search by tag, and we can find Toronto's real estate powerhouse and dedicated father, paid for by Century 21. So you get the idea, given that half of the Financial Post income comes from advertising. Is Toronto's powerhouse realtor and dedicated father going to be advertising in the Financial Post? Were its columns to be continually downbeat on his business?
Keep my name out your mouth!
And finally, let's get to its ownership structure. Postmedia is owned by Chatham Asset Management, a U.S. private equity firm which also owns other dedicated news sources, such as the National Enquirer, which,
Be careful.
David Pecker, former head of the National Enquirer, recently testified last year that the only thing that is important is the cover of the magazine, which tells us all we need to know about where profits are placed on Chatham's list of priorities. And it's not just the Financial Post that's owned by Chatham. They also own the Montreal Gazette, the National Post, Calgary Herald, Vancouver Sun, London Free Press, Edmonton Journal, etc.
I am looking out for you in this thing, okay?
Remember how we were able to pull up the sponsored content tags for the Financial Post? Well, the URL structure actually works the same across all of those sites. Let's take a look. Change the Financial Post to National Post but keep the same sponsored tag, and we get the renowned Montreal Realtors. Do they all go to the same non-school? So we've got the chair of Postmedia, Peter Sharp, with lots of interest in real estate that do better when Canada's real estate market does better as well. We have a news source that relies heavily on advertising, which composes 50% of its revenue, and we have an owner, Chatham Asset Management, which, they own the National Enquirer, so...
On the advice of my counsel...
So, the next time that Pamela Haven demonstrates an inability to read, real or convenient, or Rob McClister tries to goad you into getting tomorrow's lower interest rate at today's low house price, with all of the risks that come with it, only to reverse himself later on amid mounting predictable evidence, consider the source. I would never dare say that the Financial Post is biased in favor of the real estate industry, but if we look at its ownership structure, how it gets paid, and who owns it, there's a lot of competing interests there. Interests which do much better when the real estate industry does better as well. Imagine it being September 2021, you read in the Financial Post that Canada's having a supply problem, which would indicate that prices are going to continue to go up regardless of where interest rates lie. Meanwhile, the real estate investment trusts are doing this, and you've purchased thinking that investment is safe. Just consider the source and the interest behind your information. With that said, we will continue to track Canada's real estate market on this channel. Make sure you click, like, and subscribe if you want to get those updates, but for now, thanks so much for watching.